dress in here, and I will be using this sort of magenta, almost red fabric that's like almost see-through, but not really. So it's gonna be interesting. I have chosen to alter this dress a little bit by adding a flounce to the front, and that is what I am cutting out right now. It is important to make sure when you're working with a material that looks the same on both sides that you have a left and a right very distinctly. On this flounce, I have made a basting stitch all along the edge and then use that in an effort to better turn it up. Yes, this will require a lot of pins because it is so curved. I am basting the flounce to the neck edge. I've got the gathering stitches for the bodice, and now I am doing the first seam of a French seam. Since this is a very light, thin fabric, I thought it would be appropriate to do a French seam on it. And it has nothing to do with the fact that I don't want to buy thread for one dress just so I can use my serger. Nope, has nothing to do with that. Totally. So I'm doing the first seam. I've got everything pinned and gathered and everything. The first one I'm doing at 1/4 of an inch. And then the second seam I'm gonna do at 3/8 of an inch. That way it will all be encased inside of itself. I've got the fabric face out right now, and it will be face in for the second seam. Old-fashioned sexy nightgown. For inserting the lap zipper, I'm going to press the seam open. I've already sewn the parts that are going to be sewn shut, and up at the top too. I'm a big fan of the side zipper because it's just easier to put the dress on. And we have to press open the seam allowance where the zipper is going to go. And now I am basting the zipper to the back side of the opening, like the back of the dress, but like that side of the opening. I rather like where I've got the basting, so I'm going to stitch right directly on top of it. Note that I've actually got the zipper installed upside down, and I think that this will be even easier to put on and off, like when I put the dress on, because then I'll be pulling the zipper down and gravity will be helping me. Not that I have that many issues with that, but the other thing is that when I go to wear the dress, if I don't have the zipper pull in my armpit, I think that will be a lot more comfortable. Don't hit the zipper stop with the needle because you'll break your needle. All right, and I'm gonna back tack just a little bit here. Do remember that you want to get close, but not too close to the teeth. If you're too close to the teeth, you can interfere with the functioning of the zipper. I gotta say, I'm actually like really a fan of like the fact that this zipper, or this fabric is so bright that it like almost hurts to look at it. Like, I freaking love it. I'm gonna give those tulips a run for their money. Go up to the bottom. So we'll do just a couple of back tack stitches, pull this zipper head away. Alright. Now, on the inside of the dress, I'm gonna baste the zipper in the front fabric, but I'm gonna do it like really close to the edge. Maybe we should start from the bottom, which is actually the top. And of course, the reason that I'm doing this is just so that when I go to sew it down, it sits down nicely. I can take the basting stitches out later if I need to. I'm gonna pin the lap closed just to make sure that I get it all exactly where I want it. And good thing I pinned, because I don't want the bottom of the dress stuck to the top. That would be bad. Let's not do that. I've got my needle as far to the right as I can, and I'm going to sew the lap. Making absolutely certain that I only have the layers that I want to sew. And feel for the zipper stop, because we do not want to sew through that. Lap zippers are difficult to do in industry. Like, maybe they have to do them the same way the home sewers do them, because I don't know that I've ever like actually bought a ready-to-wear garment that had a lap zipper. I think most dresses that look like this in modern day would probably have an invisible zipper. Let's see if we can get this zipper pull up away from the needle, and be very careful to hold it in place. And this is what happens when you hit the metal part of the zipper. Ugh! I'm lucky that didn't damage the fabric. Shears are so dainty. Alright, where's the metal part? Right here. Okay, so we gotta sew past that. Alright. Definitely not going berry picking in this dress. Unless it's blueberries, because blueberries don't have thorns. I got a funny story about that, actually. Oh, so what I'm doing right now is I'm just gonna zigzag over the edge of the fabric here as it is on the zipper tape so that it doesn't fray, because I'm not using the serger on this dress. Oh yeah, so funny story about berries. So on the south side of town there's a park that used to be a farm, and all the blueberry bushes are still there. So I was kind of excited to go berry picking, and so I asked Michael to go pick blueberries with me, and he agrees. And he's like, "These don't have thorns, do they?" And I'm like, "Of course not, they're blueberries." So we get to the field, and he says, "I thought you said these don't have thorns." And I'm like, "Blueberries don't have thorns." And he says, "Well, what do you call this?" And I said, "A raspberry bush." Because there was like just a random wild raspberry growing in with the blueberries. And now I'm going to move the zipper pull so that it's not in my way. Underneath the zipper, I have chosen to turn under and stitch the seam allowance, but for the center back seam and the other side seam, I am going to do a French seam. I am also French seaming the shoulder seams, making sure to catch the flounce in them. Now, before we get all the binding and hem done, whatever, words, yes, now is a good time to try on the dress. Yeah, it looks so great with my black socks, doesn't it? So this is what's going on with the flounce at the front. I do like it. This is gonna get interesting though when I go to bind this, but also have to turn under that edge. I left that open because I wasn't sure how much of it was gonna be hanging out, so that's what. I've cut some bias strips out of the same material that the dress is made of because I didn't want to buy bias strips and then like they don't match. That would be kind of unattractive. So I made my own, but I have to sew them together. Make sure they're long enough. There is method to this madness, I tell you. I'm going to clip this and turn it over and stitch it. What am I going to do at the end? I'm going to tuck it inside of itself. And I'm going to put this bias tape all the way around. I wanted the join to be in the armpit because then it would be less noticeable, so that's what I'm doing. When you approach the flounce, be very careful not to get it caught in the binding. So the story behind this fabric is that I bought it from someone on Poshmark who said they're like cleaning out their mom's stuff or whatever, and the person said that it was suiting fabric and that it was cotton, and I thought, oh, okay, so that's kind of cool. But then when it arrived, it was clearly neither suiting fabric nor cotton. Careful what you order online, I guess. Ordering fabric from people who don't sew can be kind of weird because, like, they don't really know what they're talking about sometimes. But yeah, this is definitely polyester. Like, I'm pretty sure that cotton doesn't go that thin. You know what I mean? Oh, I don't know if I ever showed you, but on the back of my machine, this is a razor for cutting threads. So don't be alarmed by that, like, ripping sound. That's just me cutting the threads off. It's super handy. I don't have to pick up my scissors every time. And now we get to turn it to the back. And in order to properly not catch the flounce, I'm actually going to start at the flounce. Stitch all the way around except for like a millimeter or two where the flounce connects. That's what's going on here. I like to do this method of the binding like when I'm working with a really thin fabric because it's just so much easier than like having to press under a certain amount and whatnot. Just fold it in half. It's so thin I'm not worried about any bulkiness there. And we are approaching the flounce again. Be sure not to catch the flounce in the stitching. And of course now I have to trim the threads off. Maybe give it a nice press, make it sit down nicely. And now we do pretty much exactly the same thing to the neckline. Finally, the hem. I already have a lot of visible stitching on here, so I'm not going to bother doing an invisible hem. You know what look absolutely fabulous that this does? I'm gonna have to hem it because right now it's just like a frayed mess at the end, but You know what? I'm gonna make a video about how to do a hand-rolled hem. I will do that and link it into this video. All right, let's get to it. Okay. Got some hand stitching here. I decided to take out the machine stitching and replace it with a hand stitch because it just looks so much better. So that's what I did. And yep, I got the hand stitching happening here as well. There's a separate video all about the hand-rolled hem. It's a lovely gloomy day, so there's not too many people here. Coincidentally, though, it happens to be prom weekend, so the people that are here are dressed up, and I don't feel at all out of place now. The view from the front. Look at my zipper. Look at it! My zipper is upside down. When it's closed, the zipper pull is down here, actually. So that I don't have a big metal object right there, rubbing my arms on it, getting uncomfortable. That's why it's upside down, for fun. Look at all the trees. I live in a town that is known for tulips, among other things. And this is where we are.